Hello folks and welcome to Truck King. Right now I want to talk about the pickup truck bed. We have the chance to use every single bed on the market when we're reviewing trucks, so I've been in all of these beds quite a bit and I want to rank them. Who actually has the best bed? Who has the best features? Who offers the biggest bed? We're going to go through all of that right now, and then at the end of this video I am going to rank the 4 major half tons in terms of which bed is best, so make sure you stay tuned. In this video, we're going to compare the beds on the 4 major half tons. Those are the Ram 1500, the Chevrolet Silverado, the Ford F-150, and the Toyota Tundra. And don't worry, we're going to have a special mention for the GMC Sierra as well. Now, we're going to start with Chevrolet, and that's because we published a video in the summer of 2024 where I compared my old 1985 Chevy K10, better known as Big Green, to a brand new Silverado ZR2 Bison. So in this clip, you're not only going to get to see the features on the new Silverado, but also how an old bed from the 80s compares to a new bed. Let's watch it. Let's take a look now at the business end of these trucks, because a lot has changed back here. Over here on Big Green, things are simple, man. No damped tailgate, no trick tailgate at all. That thing just slams down. Not a tie down to be found in that bed. It's one thing I really don't like about this truck. I actually bought these guys. They fit into the stake hole pockets thanks to Princess Auto. So I got a couple little tie downs up here. And then yeah, there's stake hole pockets back here. There's a couple holes that have been drilled into this bed too over the years, I'm sure, to tie down different things. But yes, the modern conveniences of the bed are nowhere to be found here, although it is nice to have a full 8-foot bed. And as you can see, I've been working with this truck. So when this truck came out in '85, it was a half ton, and that name literally meant it could carry half a ton, 1,000 pounds. Now, I've upgraded the suspension and the tires, and I just recently had to go pick up some limestone screening, and I put about 2,200 pounds of limestone in the back of this thing, and it handled really well, better than I expected. I was pretty nervous about it, but the suspension still had more, so kudos to Skyjacker Suspension on that one. And I should also mention right now, I posted about that on Instagram, so if you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you go over there right now. I'm doing my best to be way more active and show you guys more of the day-to-day of what goes on here at Truck King. So yeah, check us out on Instagram. Now let's go look at this bed on the 2500, and I mean, there's so many features here to talk about. First of all, you got your corner step down there. Love having that step. The nice thing about that one is you don't even have to open the tailgate, right? It's always ready to go. If you have something in here, you can just climb in. So absolutely appreciate having that. And then we also get multi-flex tailgate. So I'll quickly run through all the different configurations here. The load stopper, the little table, regular tailgate, and then monster step. And yeah, it's a great step. Biggest one in the industry. This truck has the handle right there to help you up. And if you're unloading and loading things out of this bed constantly, that makes a massive difference. So I'm happy to see that that's here on these HDs as well. And then for features, 3 hard tie-down points in every corner. This is the only truck in the industry from Chevrolet and GMC to do that, and I love having those 3 tie-downs. I think it's important when you're tying down different things, different heights. It's nice to have choices. We also get power over here. Just 400 watts, but still nice to have a plug. LED lighting in this bed too. And another thing I don't talk about too often, but I should, is you get these cutouts in the walls. And the idea here is you can actually use lumber to make a decking system. So you can have an upper deck and a lower deck. You can have different dividers. There's so much going on in a modern truck bed that just makes it way more convenient to use than what you can find over there on my old 85.
Hey folks, great news. You've seen us pitching giddy-ups before. Well, we ran out last fall. Now we have a whole new supply. These ones right here. Hey, these are the synthetic type. They only come in black and this design. However, these are bargain price, $25 a piece, or we'll sell you a set of 4 for $80. Listen, for anybody that needs a little help getting into their tall trucks or SUVs, giddy-ups can't be beat. So look for the link down below, click it, go right to our website. It's as easy as that. Get these in your truck today.
Now you've seen the Chevy. Here I have to mention the GMC Sierra because it is still available with a carbon fiber bed. They call it Carbon Pro, and we did get a chance to test it. Check it out. Now another thing I want to show you, this badge right here. This is the Carbon Pro package, which means that we have that carbon fiber bed in the back end, and I'm excited to show you around it. So Carbon Pro, you're getting this bed, but it comes with a whole bunch of different stuff. It comes with a whole bunch of interior options and luxury options, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's focus back here. So first of all, we always say carbon fiber, but that's actually a simplification. What this is carbon fiber reinforced plastic, CFRP. And this bed actually comes together. It's about 11 different individual pieces, which are then married, and they become this bed. Now you might be asking right away, why would you want it? And of course, General Motors' answer is longevity. Over a steel bed that might rust, or aluminum bed that, might not be that strong, this should last a long time. It's never gonna rust. It shouldn't degrade in the sun or the weather, nothing like that. So again, according to GM, it's gonna last forever. We can't exactly test the longevity, but we can test the durability as it is today. And another thing we can test is how slippery it is, because that's one of our biggest complaints with Carbon Pro. When we originally saw this bed, it was a totally slick surface, and right away we said, this makes no sense, everything's going to be totally slippery. GM said, don't worry, we're going to put some texture to it. Now I'll show you a close-up of the texture right here, and they did do it, but it's just not enough. When you load things into this bed, it just doesn't have very much grip, sort of like a spray-in bed liner would. Now, if you just get a steel bed with no bed liner, it's gonna be more slippery than this. But, most trucks these days have bed liners, and compared to a bed liner, this is gonna be more slippery. So, I guess the verdict is still out on Carbon Pro and whether or not you'd want it. One of the other good things I'll say about it is you don't lose any functionality at all from the standard GM bed. You still get 3 tie downs in every single corner at 3 different heights. I love that. You get your handle over here to help you climb up into the bed. There's bed lighting back here. There's a plug in the bed. And one added feature, there are actually cutouts up there in the front for motorcycle tires. So if you're hauling a bike, you put it in the middle one. If you're hauling 2 bikes, you put them on the outside, and then there's actually tie downs up there too for your motorcycle. So there's a lot going on back here with Carbon Pro. So we're gonna what are you doing with the concrete block?
Well, remember when Ford brought out the aluminum bed, and then GM was going on about how steel was better? They did that commercial where they dropped the toolbox. I don't have a toolbox.
Looks pretty clean to me.
Yeah, and you got a little bit of a mark there, but hell's bells, yeah.
And again, the beauty is, if it was steel, painted steel, you'd break the paint and then that would start to rust. If it's aluminum, you might put a friggin' hole in it. Here, sure, you scratch it up a little bit, but who cares, right?
Well, that's what's going to happen anyway, but the question is, this didn't put a hole in it, not like those other commercials.
Exactly. So with all of those tie downs and that clever tailgate, does General Motors make the best bed? Well, we'll revisit that question at the end of this video. Right now, let's move on to the Ford F-150. So right here, you can see our review of the 2024 F-150 Power Boost Hybrid, where I crawl all over the bed and look at all the features. Let's look at the business end now. So this truck does have a nice damped tailgate on it. Nice slow open, and we do have the bed utility package on our truck today too, so we get all the features back here. Things like these great C-clamp pockets. If you're working here with lumber or something, you can actually hold them down. You get these integrated rulers in both inches and centimeters. I appreciate the nod to metric there, Ford. So if you're measuring something, you can lay it on your tailgate, see how long it is. And then of course, the integrated step. I say this all the time. I like this step if you're in and out of the bed a lot because it hangs so low. It's one of the easiest to get up and get into the bed with. Now this is just the short bed right here on our F-150 today, but it is packed with features, things like LED lighting, and that's controlled off of a button right here in the back. So anytime you need to turn that on, bam, there it is. Right below it, Pro Power on board. Because we have the hybrid today, you actually get a max of 7.2 kilowatts
and that is a 30 amp 240 volt plug. So nice to have that. And then down below, you're getting a bank of 4 plugs right there. Those are all 2.4 kilowatt plugs, but a serious amount of power out of the back of this F-150. You're getting these great removable cleats here, and Ford has many different accessories that can slot into these spots, which is cool. And then over here, this is actually a little update for 2024. Every F-150 can now get this. It's just a little bedside storage. Somebody's got a bungee cord down in there. But sure, if you want to toss some tools in, something that you want to keep dry and safe, nice to have a little storage bin there. Now, when it comes to hard tie-down points, we get 1 in each corner. That's one area I wish Ford would step its game up on. General Motors has 3 hard tie-downs in each corner. So that's one thing that jumps out to me is, yeah, I wish there was a couple more of those. But outside of that, yeah, this bed has basically everything you could need to work with it.
Now, the truck we used in that video did not have the Pro Access tailgate, which we've also tested. Take a look.
We just hooked up the trailer specifically to show off this new tailgate because that's really what Ford focused on when they installed this new feature. So traditionally, if I was to open this tailgate with the trailer on, it's going to hit my jack foot, and you can see we put a piece of rubber on top of our jack foot because this isn't the first time this has happened to us. This is the powered tailgate, so it doesn't want to sit at that position. It either needs to be open or closed, so it closed on its own. But now, here's what Pro Access is all about. You grab the button over here at the side. There is a detent right there at just about 30 degrees, so the door will actually stay there. And this allows me to get in here and really access things in my bed. So I can reach in further, and then I can also still climb up and in. And that's something that wouldn't have been possible with a traditional tailgate. So I will say, I think this tailgate is a little niche because it's so towing specific. But if you are pulling a trailer all the time, I can definitely see the benefit of this thing.
That's it from Ford. Now let's move on. And we actually did a comparison video with the Ram 1500 Rebel and a Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. So we compared those two beds straight back to back. Let's run that whole clip for you right now.
Let's look at the business end of these trucks now and talk towing and payload. But first, the beds. And yes, the Tundra does have a trick built in over here on its driver's side light. There is a button to drop the tailgate, and that is an auto down and auto up tailgate. Now, this is one feature that does make the Tundra unique in the segment. It has a composite bed, so this is not steel in here. It's essentially a very fancy hard plastic. Now, my one complaint with it, and it's very apparent in the wintertime, it's a little bit more slippery than what you're going to find out of a bed-lined steel bed, but you could also put a bed liner in here or a bed mat, and that'll solve that problem. Now, when it comes to bed features, and this is the short bed on the Tundra, we do have LED lighting here, which is nice. There is a rail system up here, so you can move these cleats around, and then you're also getting 400 watts of power right there out of a plug. So yeah, pretty nice to have that. When it comes to tie downs, 1 hard tie down in each corner. I guess that's my one complaint here. I do wish there was more hard tie downs. And then like I mentioned, that's also an auto up tailgate. And yeah, you can just start it by lifting it like that. Now let's look over here at the Ram. One feature I want to point out, it does have this assist step that pops out like that, and it's going to help you get up in the truck. And this is also a power up and down tailgate. And yeah, this step really does work well. Make it easy to climb up and in. Now this is your more traditional steel bed-lined bed. When it comes to features, they're basically the same. You get this cargo rail system where you can move around those cleats, which is nice. You're getting LED lighting, which is good. And there's also a 400 watt plug. It's a little bit buried underneath this rail here. But yes, you also have power out of the bed of your Ram. And then when it comes to tie downs, also just 1 hard tie down in each corner. So yeah, the beds here are quite similar. And when you're done, simply lift and up it goes.
And there's some features on the Ram 1500's bed that weren't present in that video. So let's talk about Ram boxes and that split tailgate.
So we get to the back, we get to still a Ram unique feature. the Ram boxes, lockable, dry storage. I think it's hard to complain about these. They eat up a little bit of your space inside of your bed, but it doesn't go beyond the wheel well. So it's just that space kind of from the wheel well to the bed wall. That's kind of the one downside. And then of course you have to pay for them. But outside of that, they work really excellent. Plus this one also has a plug. Ram decided to put its plug in the Ram box, so you could even be rolling down the road with something locked in here, your drill or something charging. I think that's pretty neat. Now, when you get Elite, you also get this Ram multi-function tailgate as standard equipment. So it drops like a standard tailgate, or use the bottom handle and it cracks open like so. And the main advantage to this is actually being able to get right up to the edge of your bed to load things in and out. I have used it a number of times. It is handy. I do like it. Being able to get in this much closer is nice. My one question, and I don't have a factual answer, I'll try to get one for you. See this huge steel reinforcement right here? That's gotta be, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 pounds. And these are the things that deduct from your payload. So you're getting this cool tailgate, but you're adding all of this weight. And that's one of the reasons why this truck has such a low payload rating. Now, outside of that, I'll show you one other feature back here. You do have a cool little Mopar accessory step there. And they built it specifically for this tailgate. So when you're right in the middle, you can get up into your bed. And then yes, we do have the tri-fold soft tonneau on here as well.
Now you've seen my thoughts out in the field with all of these beds actually going hands-on. Right now, let's do the size comparison. So in basically all of our test videos, they were all the short bed models. That's just generally what we get a chance to test. Those are also the most popular trucks on the road these days, but we have to talk about what is available. So from the Ford F-150, you have a 5.5, a 6.5, and an 8-foot bed. The Chevy Silverado, the same thing, has a 5.8-foot bed, a 6.6-foot bed, and then an 8.2-foot bed. Ram is the only brand here that doesn't offer an 8-foot bed. They only have a 5-foot 7-inch bed and a 6-foot 4-inch bed. And then the Toyota Tundra also has 3 options: 5.5 feet, 6.5 feet, or 8.1 feet. So this is one area where the Ram 1500 does fall short because it just doesn't offer an 8-foot bed like the rest of these brands. Now, if we're talking overall size, who has the absolute biggest bed in the half-ton segment? The answer is the Chevrolet Silverado. They list their 8-foot bed at 98.1 inches, where Ford lists their 8-foot bed at 97.6 inches long. So yes, the Chevy bed is slightly longer than the Ford's, and then the Chevy bed is said to have 89.1 cubic feet of cargo space or cargo volume. The Ford only 77.4 cubic feet. And that's something that Chevrolet went out of their way to do when they redesigned the Silverado and Sierra. They talked about how they took those bed walls and pushed them out even further to increase the cargo capacity. Now, they did not change the width between the wheel wells, but they did still give you more overall cargo volume. So if you're just asking the simple question of who has the largest bed, the answer is Chevrolet. And that remains true even if you're looking at the short bed. So Chevy's 5.8-foot bed, that's their shortest bed, has 62.9 cubic feet of volume, where the Ford F-150's shortest bed has 52.8 cubic feet of volume. Ram has 53.9 in its shortest bed, and Toyota has 55.5 cubic feet. So yes, even if you're comparing short bed to short bed, the Chevrolet has the most overall space. And now, everybody, we get to the fun part of the video, the ranking. So I'm going to put these 4 trucks in the order I think they belong in when it just comes to how usable are the beds, how clever are the features, and how usable are those features? Are they actually things you're going to put into practice every day? So coming in at number 4 on the bottom of our list, I think has to be the Ram 1500. It doesn't offer an 8-foot bed option, and it just doesn't have a lot of features like the other beds do. Now, granted, the Ram still does have things like LED lights and the Ram boxes, which are unique, plus movable tie downs on rails, but it just lacks any real special features. And then the split tailgate is fine, but to me, it's not something I would use all the time in everyday truck use. So yes, I think Ram comes in on the bottom of this list. Moving up to number 3, I put the Toyota Tundra. I like the composite bed just from the simple point of view that it should be durable. Even if you take a chunk out of that bed, it's not going to expose, bare steel underneath. So it should last a long time and take a beating. So I appreciate that about this bed. Although, yes, my complaint still stands. It can be kind of slippery in there. If you just get a rubber bed mat, that will solve the issue right there. Or you can spray line the composite bed from Toyota. So I would recommend getting that spray and bed liner. And then that issue is solved. But yes, at number 3, I arrive with the Toyota Tundra. Then coming in at number 2, and this will tell you what number 1 is. At number 2, we have the Ford F-150. The F-150 actually probably packs the most clever features out of all of these beds. There's just so much going on in the F-150. All those little places to stash your nuts and bolts and a phone holder. The tie downs on the tailgate. I think that's a really smart idea, especially if you have an ATV or even lumber that's coming out over the tailgate. Being able to tie it down at the back end there is clever. Plus those do double as bottle openers, so who doesn't appreciate that? The Ford bed step is definitely one of the best. Pro Power onboard is incredible in the Ford bed. I love using that, and that's come in handy for us many times. I like the seat clamp pockets in the tailgate. The Ford box link system, I always mention it in passing, but you can see here, when you go on the Ford accessory website, there's so many cool things that you can buy straight from Ford that will fit into that box link setup. So yes, definitely lots of smart things going on in the bed of a Ford F-150. And then even that Pro Access tailgate, I said it in the review, I'll say it again, it is a narrow usage case because it's so specific for towing. But if you tow a trailer all the time, it absolutely has practical applications every day. So yeah, the F-150's bed is pretty dang good, but I don't think it's quite as good as number 1 on our list, the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra, because they do share a bed. Now, I say this in all the videos. I'm going to say it again right here. To me, one of the most important things is hard tie-down points, and the Chevy is hands down the best. It has 3 hard tie-downs in each corner, and they're at 3 different heights. You're never tying down things that are the same height, so having different height tie-downs really does make a difference. Not to mention, they put a bunch of cutouts right in the bed wall that are ready to accept new tie-down points. I just think Chevy, when it comes to securing things in the bed, is the best. And then I also think the Chevy Multi-Flex tailgate is the most useful of all the clever tailgates. The Ram tailgate is fine. It allows you to get a little closer in. That's about it. The Ford tailgate, very specific for towing, and if that's what you're doing, great. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't have a ton of uses. The Chevy tailgate, I feel like, is the most useful in all situations. I just like putting the load stop up when my tailgate is down to make sure things aren't going to slide out the back. And then also, when we're working with, let's say, my dad's 5th-wheel trailer, you just put down the top part of that tailgate and it allows you to get into your bed a little bit more. There's so many different uses because it has so many different settings that I truly believe that is the most clever tailgate in the industry right now. And then you just can't argue with the fact that Chevy has the biggest beds. At the end of the day, what we really want out of our beds is to be able to haul the most amount of stuff. And Chevrolet allows you to do that. So while I do lament the fact that it doesn't have things like Pro Power onboard from Ford, I'm just looking at which bed is the most useful. And when I look at that, I think the answer is the bed from General Motors. Well, folks, that ends our look into the world of pickup truck beds. And now, of course, the last thing to do is to hear from you. So drop in the comments, let me know, do you own one of these trucks? What is your experience with truck beds? What do you like in your bed? What do you not like in your bed? I want to hear all of that stuff. And then what do you think about my rankings? Did I nail it or was I wrong? Please let me know down there in the comments. I want to hear it. And as always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King and see what we're testing next. See ya.